Hello, in this video I'll be sharing with you all the books that I read in 2021 and my thoughts about each of them. To get started, we're going to start with the fiction book, The Alchemist, written by Paulo Coelho. This book is all about following a young man and his journey in terms of conquering his dream and basically following his hunch in life. And the biggest takeaway I got from this book is that you should always follow your hunch, you should always follow your intuition and go after your dreams, because that is what is going to ultimately lead you to success. And the next book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. This book is obviously, it's a well-known book. It's very popular within the self-help space, but I finally got a chance to sit down and read it. And the biggest takeaway I got from this book was essentially the idea of the 4 quadrants that he points out in the book. And the main idea of these quadrant zones is that he's essentially laying out that we do not spend enough time on the quadrant where it is not urgent, but it's highly important. So you can think of activities like building on your passion projects, working on your side business, working on your business, spending time with meaningful relationships, building those meaningful relationships. We don't leave ourselves enough time in the day or enough time in the year to focus on those activities. But if you can lay out your schedule where you can focus more of your time on those highly important but not urgent activities, you're going to be leaving yourself feeling more fulfilled in life and actually being able to go and conquer your dreams. So main takeaway is to focus in on the important but not urgent activities in your life. Then we have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and also the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I finally got around to reading the Harry Potter books this year for the first time. I actually made a video about it earlier in 2021, but it's a great book. I mean, they're one of the best fiction book series out there for a reason. It's just a fun read and just something to pass your time with. And I really got deeply involved and deeply in love with the characters. I love the story. I love the whole journey that you get to be put on from the 7 years that you're reading the book. So the Harry Potter series are definitely worth a read if you just want something to kick back and relax. And especially if you haven't got a chance to reading them, it's never too late to start. This next book is pretty popular. I've made tons of videos about it already, but it is Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. The main takeaway from this book, I'll keep it short and simple, is that small daily practice is the biggest thing and the most beneficial thing when it comes to habit building. For me, I didn't really understand this concept, but just simply going in every day and just doing small habitual practice on the habit that you're trying to build is what is going to ultimately lead you to building that big habit of becoming that consistent person. So just remember that small changes leads to remarkable results. The next book is all about relationships. It's called How to Be a 3% Man, written by Corey Wayne. This book is essentially all about how the art of picking up women, dating women, and maintaining your relationship with them. And for me, this is a really fascinating read and something that I, got a lot of knowledge from and a lot of value from, because I noticed in my own relationship, it's very common for most people, once you're in a long-term relationship and everything's going well, the standards start to slide a bit. You don't continuously date your woman, or you don't continuously date your partner. You find yourself just kind of going back into the old simple habits because you're already in the relationship. So you've kind of gone away from the hard part of doing in the beginning, when you were going out on dates, planning ideas, making things fun and adventurous. And the book, one of the ideas and one of the talking points he brings up in the book is that in order to maintain your relationship, you have to continuously do those activities and continuously date your partner, because if you don't, they're going to end up leaving you, or they're just not going to be fulfilled in the relationship, and that's not going to be fun for anyone. And the next book is about anxiety. It's called Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer. He is a PhD, MD, professional psychologist or professional therapist, And this book is all about how you can view anxiety in the form of habit loops. And it was very fascinating for me because at the time I was reading this, I was going through a lot of workplace anxiety. And I wouldn't say my anxiety is cured by any means. I still go through it. But this book really helped kind of control it and help kind of put a proper thought process when it comes to my head. And one of the ways he views it is through the lens of habit loops. And I found this very interesting because I'm really interested in habit building, and I love Atomic Habits, and I love the power of habit. I love how to build habits. So viewing anxiety through the form or through the lens of a habit loop kind of helped break down. And he basically makes the argument and point that if you can start viewing your habits in the form of habit loops, you can start tackling and hopefully controlling, or being able to accept the anxiety that's coming in. And obviously there are a ton more insights and other things that he brings up in the book, but The main one was looking through the lens of habit loops and how to maintain it. And moving on to the finance book that I read in 2021, we have Rich Dad Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. Pretty much a commonly known, probably the most popular personal finance book you can get in the market, or the most well-known out in the internet. It's the most well-known for a reason. I think this book was really interesting because compared to the other self-help books, or excuse me, the other personal finance books I've read in my life, this one, while it does give you kind of practical tips on what to do to kind of get yourself out of a financial hole, it's really teaching you the mindset and really bringing together, kind of like enforcing the mindset of like, how does a rich person think, or how does a person of wealth think when it comes to money, and how do they view money, and how do they view opportunities, and how do they look at certain opportunities to help them build and grow and continuously grow wealth. And to me, that was really interesting because I really haven't had a book kind of explain the difference or kind of look at it through that type of lens. Going back to the self-help side of books, the next book is Minimalism by The Minimalist. I learned about The Minimalist through Matt D'Avella's channel and his documentary on Netflix. And obviously they're a well-known duo when it comes to the self-help space, and especially the minimalist space. But I finally decided to give their book a chance and actually read it. It's a small read. It's not the chunkiest book you're going to read in the world, but it does give you a lot of practical tips and a lot of tips about what minimalism is. And when I went into this book, I kind of had an idea of what minimalism was through Matt's channel and through other articles I've read. It's not all about just getting rid of stuff. I think the book does really point out and really does show how minimalism in all facets of your life, when it comes to money, relationships, stuff, obviously work, how basically bringing minimalism and intentionality into your life can really benefit you and help you grow and help you just live a happier and more fulfilled life. And the last book is Be a Work in Progress by John Cena. Really, I was just going through Barnes & Noble one day in 2021 and I saw the book. I know John Cena because I grew up watching WWE, so I know obviously he's not really in the WWE space that much anymore. He's more into making movies and being kind of a motivational presence. But if I saw John Cena, I know I had to give it a shot and pick it up because he's John Cena. You have to pick it up. You have to pick up a book that's made by John Cena. But this book, it's a really short, simple read. It's literally, I would say like 100 pages, and it's just a short collection of just his thoughts and stories, or just little things to help keep you motivated throughout life and throughout the journey of life. So I think it's a fascinating read. Those are all the books that I read in 2021. I hope that this list provided you some sort of inspiration to maybe explore some of the topics or the exact books that I read during the past year. I hope 2022 is great for you and you continue to learn and continue to read as much as you can. Thanks again for watching. Bye.